Selected Poems by Juan Francisco Manzano. To Death, read for LibriVox.org by Newgate Novelist. O thou dread scourge and terror of our race, while thy strong hand bows down the proudest head, filling the earth with cries in every place, and grief and wailing o'er the silent dead. Hear one poor Christian's humble prayer to thee, and speak in words that one may hear and live. I only beg thou wilt not ask of me this gift of life that God was pleased to give. While passion's spell is on my heart, nor yet while angry feelings rankle in my breast, nor while remembrance ever is beset with wrongs that men despair to see redressed. Oh, yet not while I feel this bosom rise with tender transports when the partner dear of all my cares, with bright and beaming eyes, smiles in my face, and Eden's joys seem here. But let it be, when thou dost see me yield, give my whole heart and soul to God above, to Him who gave me life, nay, more, revealed the truths of life eternal and of love. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. To Calumny by Juan Francisco Manzano, read for LibriVox.org by Newgate Novelist. Silence, audacious wickedness which aims at honour's breast, or strikes with driftless breath the lightest word that spoken thus defames, and where it falls, inflicts a moral death. If with malign, deliberate intent the shaft is sped, the bow that vibrates yet, one day will hurt the hand by which 'tis bent, and leave a wound its malice justly met. For once the winged arrow is sent forth, who then may tell where, when, or how 'twill fall? Or, who may pluck its barb from wounded worth, and send it back, and swiftly too withal? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Religion, an Ode by Juan Francisco Manzano, read for LibriVox.org by Newgate Novelist. Yes, though in gloom and sadness I may rise, one blessed strain can soothe my troubled soul. No sooner wakened than with streaming eyes upward I look, and there I seek my goal. Soaring in spirit o'er the things of earth, the spark imprisoned bursts its bonds of clay. I feel delight above all human mirth, and wrapped in love, I live but then to pray. To thee, dear Father, mighty and supreme, immense, eternal, infinite, and blessed. Oh, how the grandeur of the theme doth seem t' enlarge my thoughts, and to inflame my breast. Hail, blessed faith! Thou only hope and trust, solace most sweet, and stay of hope most sure. Thou sole support and shield of the oppressed, the weak, the wronged, the wretched, and the poor. In thee all trouble is absorbed and lost, in every breath of thine there's vital air, whose mild and genial influence the just rejoice to find, the wretched e'en may share. For thee, when darkness brooded o'er the land, a remnant, faithful to the law they feared, still wept and sighed, till mercy's hour at hand, the mighty standard of the cross was reared. Then in the depths of fear, as by a spell, the voice of hope was heard, the tidings glad, of truth eternal, far and wide were spread, and demons trembled as their idols fell. But soon the foe of truth and justice came. Far worse there's none than tyranny can prove. That fitting agent of a spirit's aim, indocile ever to the God of love. But vain was all that monster's rage renewed. Thousands of martyrs fell beneath its sway. Still in that cradle purpled with their blood, the infant faith waxed stronger every day. Now the triumphant gospel is our guide, how sure conductor to eternal light. The future vast, the heavenly portals hide their joys no longer from our spirit's sight. 'Tis thou, O God, by faith who dost reveal mysterious wonders to our senses weak, when thou dost speak to hearts that deeply feel, and humbly hear when thou dost deign to speak. Oh, when the mantle of thy peace descends, how the soul then exults in her attire! The garb of grace to every thought extends, and wraps reflection in seraphic fire. In thee I find all purity and peace, all truth and goodness, wisdom far above all worldly wisdom, might beyond increase, and yet surpassing these, unbounded love. Oh, that its light were shed on those whose deeds belie the doctrines of the Church they claim, whose impious tongues profane their fathers' creeds, and sanction wrong, e'en in religion's name. O God of mercy, throned in glory high, o'er earth and all its miseries, look down. Behold the wretched, hear the captive's cry, and call thy exiled children round thy throne. There would I fain in contemplation gaze on thy eternal beauty, and would make of love one lasting canticle of praise, and every theme but that henceforth forsake. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. 30 Years by Juan Francisco Manzano. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgate Novelist. When I think on the course I have run, from my childhood itself to this day, I tremble, and fain would I shun the remembrance its terrors array. I marvel at struggles endured with a destiny frightful as mine, at the strength for such efforts, assured though I am, 'tis in vain to repine. I have known this sad life 30 years, and to me 30 years it has been, of suffering, of sorrow and tears. Every day of its bondage I've seen. But 'tis nothing, the past, or the pains, hitherto I have struggled to bear, when I think, oh my God, on the chains that I know I'm yet destined to wear. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Cucuya, or Firefly, by Juan Francisco Manzano. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgate Novelist. The firefly is heedlessly wandering about, through field and through forest is winging his route, as free as the butterfly sporting in air, from flower to flower it flits here and there, now glowing with beautiful phosphoric light, then paling its lustre and waning in night. It bears no effulgence in rivalry near, but shrouds every gleam as the dawn doth appear. It sparkles alone in the soft summer's eve, itself, though unseen, by the track it doth leave. The youth of the village at nightfall pursue, o'er hill and o'er dale, as it comes into view. now shining before them, now lost to their eyes. The sparkle they catch at just twinkles and dies, and the mead is one moment all spangled with fire, and the next every sparklet is sure to expire. On the leaf of the orange awhile it disports, when the blossom is there, to its cup it resorts, and still the more brightly and dazzling it shines, it baffles its tiny pursuer's designs. But see the sweet maiden, the innocent child, the pride of the village, as fair as the wild and beautiful flowers she twines in her hair. How light is her step, and how joyous her air! And oft as one looks on such brightness and bloom, on such beauty as hers, one might envy the doom of a captive cuckooya that's destined like this to be touched by her hand and revived by her kiss, imprisoned itself by a mistress so kind, it hardly can seem to be closely confined, and a prisoner thus tenderly treated in fine by a keeper so gentle might cease to repine. In the cage which her delicate hands have prepared, the captive cuckooya is shining unscared, suspended before her with others as bright, in beauty's own bondage revealing their light. But this amongst all is her favourite one, and she bears it at dusk to her alcove alone. 'Tis fed by her hand on the cane that's most choice, and in secret it gleams at the sound of her voice. Thus cherished, the honey of Hybla would now scarce tempt the cuckooya her care to forego, and daily it seems to grow brighter and gain increasing effulgence, forgetting its pain. Oh, beautiful maiden, may heaven accord thy care of the captive its fitting reward, and never may fortune the fetters remove of a heart that is thine in the bondage of love. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Clock That Gains by Juan Francisco Manzano. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgate Novelist. The clock's too fast, they say, but what matter how it gains? Time will not pass away any faster for its pains. The tiny hands may race round the circle, they may range. The sun has but one pace, and his course he cannot change. The beams that daily shine on the dial are not so, for they're ruled by laws divine, and they vary not, we know. But though the clock is fast, yet the moments, I must say, more slowly never passed than they seemed to pass today. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Dream by Juan Francisco Manzano. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgate Novelist. Addressed to my younger brother. Thou knowest, dear Florence, my sufferings of old, the struggles maintained with oppression for years. We shared them together, and each was consoled with the whispers of love that were mingled with tears. But now, far apart, this sad pleasure is gone. We mingle our sighs and our sorrows no more. The course is a new one that each has to run, and dreary the prospect for either in store. But in slumber our spirits, at least, shall commune. Behold, how they meet in the visions of sleep, in dreams that recall early days, like the one, in my brother's remembrance, I fondly would keep. For solitude pining, in anguish of late, the heights of Quintana I sought for repose, and there of seclusion enamoured, the weight of my cares was forgotten, I felt not my woes. Exhausted and weary, the spell of the place soon weighed down my eyelids, and slumber then stole so softly o'er nature, it left not a trace of trouble or sorrow o'ercasting my soul. I seemed to ascend like a bird in the air, and the pinions that bore me amazed me the more. I gazed on the plumage of beauty so rare, as they waved in the sun at each effort to soar. My spirit aspired to a happier sphere, the buoyancy even of youth was surpassed. One effort at flight not divested of fear, and the flutter ensued was successful at last. And leaving the earth and its toils, I look down, or upwards I glance, and behold with surprise the wonders of God, and the firmament strewn with myriads of brilliance that spangle the skies. The ocean of ether around me, each star of the zodiac shining above either pole, of the earth as a point in the distance afar, and one flap of the wing serves to traverse the whole. The bounds which confine the wide sea, and the height which separates earth from the heavenly spheres, the moon as a shield I behold in my flight, and each spot on its surface distinctly appears. The valley well known of Matanzas is nigh, and trembling, my brother, I gaze on that place, where, cold and forgotten, the ashes now lie of the parents we clung to in boyhood's embrace. How the sight of that place sent the blood to my heart! I shudder e'en now to recall it, and yet I'd remind you of wrongs we were wont to impart, and to weep o'er in secret at night when we met. I gazed on that spot, where together we played. Our innocent pastimes came fresh to my mind. Our mother's caresses, the fondness displayed, in each word and each look of a parent so kind. The ridge of that mountain, whose fastness is wild, the fugitives seek, I beheld, and around, plantations were scattered of late where they toiled, and the graves of their comrades are now to be found. The mill house was there, and its turmoil of old, but sick of these scenes, for too well they were known, I looked for the stream, where in childhood I strolled by its banks when a moment of peace was my own. But no recollections of pleasure or pain could drive the remembrance of thee from my core. I sought my dear brother, embraced him again, but found him a slave, as I left him before. "Oh, Florence," I cried, "let us fly from this place. The gloom of a dungeon is here to affright. 'Tis dreadful as death or its terrors to face, and hateful itself as the scaffold to sight. Let us fly on the wings of the wind, let us fly, and forever abandon so hostile a soil as this place of our birth, where our doom is to sigh in hapless despair, and in bondage to toil." To my bosom I clasped him, and winging once more my flight in the air, I ascend with my charge. The Sultan I seem of the winds, as I soar, a monarch whose will sets the prisoner at large. Like Icarus boldly ascending on high, I laugh at the anger of Minos, and see a haven of freedom aloft, where I fly, and the place where the slave from his master is free. The rapture which Daedalus inly approved to Athens from Crete, when pursuing his flight, on impetuous pinions I felt when I moved through an ocean of ether, so boundless and bright. But the moment I triumphed o'er earth and its fears, and dreamt of aspiring to heavenly joys, of hearing the music divine of the spheres, and tasting of pleasure that care never cloys. I saw in an instant the face of the skies, so bright and serene but a moment before, enveloped in gloom, and there seemed to arise the murmur preceding the tempest's wild roar. Beneath me the sea into fury was lashed, above me the thunder rolled loudly, and now the hurricane round me in turbulence dashed, and the glare of the lightning e'en flashed on my brow. The elements all seemed in warfare to be, and succour or help there was none to be sought. The fate of poor Icarus seemed now for me, and my daring attempt its own punishment brought. 'Twas then, oh my God, that a thunderclap came, and the noise of its crash broke the slumbers so light that stole o'er my senses and fettered my frame, and the dream was soon over of freedom's first flight. And waking, I saw thee, my brother, once more. The sky was serene, and my terrors were past, but doubt there was none of the tempests of yore, and the clouds that of old our young hopes overcast. End of poem.